Hello, it's me again, der Bayer, and today we are making the first steps to finalizing the long-awaited Mille Monti 1953. The Mille Monti was a time trial through all of Western Slovenia in sports and touring cars, and we have many winners of their respective car classes to crown. But first of all, let's take a look at the contestants. All of them, 282 cars. The amount of entries has absolutely blown me away, and it took me a while to figure out how to process it all, but I'm mostly done now. So the community has spoken and rated every participant on a scale from 0 to 10 points, while the scrutineering team, that's just me, has investigated the cars for any potential rule infringements. So let's start with the results of the Corsa d'Eleganza for the 81 car strong touring car class. The cars are sorted in reverse order, so the high quality cars will come at the very end to keep the suspense up. Every car below 6 points will get just a blurb with my opinion. Above 6 points I will actually say a few words. I hope you don't mind a few silly comments and can take them with a laugh. I try to point at issues in a constructive manner most of the time. So let's get started.
Mille Monti 1953 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 Mille Monti 1953
A very solid effort with this large limousine, just the badging is maybe a little bit too large. A little bit busy in the rear and empty on the lower front, but overall the concept is working. The headlights have been scaled down on this one, but the rest is pretty solid, pretty nice details. Molding on the bonnet is maybe a bit too much. A little bit boxy and modern, and also sitting very high on very tiny wheels. Interesting idea, but the headlights are lighting up into the sky. Here 3D fixture placement would have helped. Definitely unconventional, not the most beautiful to look at, but solid work. Headlights have been scaled down here as well. This one's looking very racy and beefy. Overall solid work, nice details, maybe a little bit too large badging. I don't know how realistic the window openings are for a regular road car. Overall pretty nice and pretty detailed work though. A massive limousine, bit empty on the sides, and the taillights could have been larger, but I like the overall style. I really don't know what are the scores of this one. I absolutely love it. Very unconventional, nice work on the rear wheel covers and also very nice work on the headlights. Many different shapes and forms are colliding on this one. On the sides it's also just the bare minimum. A pretty much error correct design, but overall lacking details. Nice coupe, but the scale of fixtures sometimes is a bit off, and also the line on the sides does not really follow the body contours. This one's trying a little bit too hard with body molding to be special. It doesn't really work very well with the lighting in a photo scene. Very nice work and very nice details, probably losing a few points because of missing basic interior. Not very inspired and unique. Feels almost like a replica, but overall very solid and clean work. A very nice and quirky looking car. The badging in the rear maybe is a little small and a little bit too less detail on the sides, else it's very nice. A very creative bathtub here. While it's not a natural beauty, I appreciate the effort and the craftsmanship. A little bit too square fixtures in places, and maybe the rear molding for the number plate is not the most fitting, but well constructed overall. A well crafted and beautiful convertible, but just not enough to get into the top 10. And there we have our top 10 finalists of the touring car category. Who will take the crown in this class? It's not random numbers, but they have built a very nice coupe with lots of details and beautiful craftsmanship. A very well crafted but maybe a little bit too modern two-door sedan by Gaudscape makes it to P9. It lost one of its rally headlights before the start. Damas entered a very large limousine where the design nicely follows the body lines. Well done. This battleship, probably from Gazmia, does not meet the challenge regulations unfortunately, but it's an absolute unit. Tim Warlock makes it to P6 with a very nicely built sedan. Maybe a little bit too much badging prevents it from entering the top 5. There we have the mother of all Twingos, pretty much a recreation of the 2CV, but very well crafted. In P4, one of my absolute favorites, a very creative and very high effort build, really working well with body molding to create something unique. And in P3 we have Fansand Breda with a very nicely detailed limousine, maybe a little bit much on the badging side and on the chrome strip side, but overall it fits very well together, it's very coherent front to back, so well deserved. And in P2 we have nobody, because we have a shared first place. Who would have thought that? It's neck to neck between two cars, and in one of the P1s we have Cortex with a very clean and very detailed small car. I watched them building this car, and the two-tone color scheme was built from individual paint patches, so a lot of work, well deserved first place there, and it's shared with one of my absolute favorites as well, OME, with an absolute masterpiece from my point of view. Very creative, very unique, very sleek looking coupe. I absolutely love the front, even though the headlights also are aligned a little bit towards the sky, but so nice. What a result there in the touring car class. Congratulations to the top 3, Kotex, OME and Vincent Breda. 3 well-deserved winners, but I absolutely appreciate the effort of all the participants. Most cars were built according to the rules, and I'm happy to see many interesting design concepts. Some very bold, some executed not all too well, but as long as everybody had fun, I'm happy. People spent a lot of time building the cars. Many people have reported how long it took them, and although the report form was a bit flawed, I can still estimate the money that was burnt during the making of the 282 cars for this challenge. Not counting the time I have spent on the event organization, we have an overall estimate of about 3,000 hours spent across all entries. That is about 1.5 full years of work for a single person working a 40-hour week. Now, if we assume an average annual salary of an industrial designer or mechanical engineer in Germany of about 54,000 euros, players spent the work equivalent of 81,000 euros or 85,000 US dollars. That's absolutely insane numbers. Was it worth it? You decide. Let me know in the comments below. So then, let's move on to the sports car category. Same procedure, a quick run through all cars between 0 and 6 points, and a bit slower thereafter. 201 cars to go. Solid effort, could use better fitting rear lights. The front does not really work with these scaled down headlights. Just too basic without a really creative idea. Pretty inconsistent shapes, a bit incoherent. Rear lights are much too complex for the era. A bit busy in the front, but not too bad. The shape of the two-tone paint behind the front wheels is a bit too much. A bit plain, but no major issues except the scaled down number plate. Nice detailing, but a bit busy. Fixture proportions are off on this one. The conforming of the front lights hurts this one, needs a different solution. I'd try a different and lower placed front grille. Decent build for such a small body. Pretty consistent, but maybe a bit too many sausage vents. Not sure what the side vents do the way they are, rear is too simple. Front lights are trying too hard, vents are a bit inconsistent. Interesting ideas, rear lights can be simplified. A bit basic, massive chrome on the front grille. The fixture placement at the front feels a bit random. The front grille does not work at all for me. Too large badging and suboptimal rear indicator placement. The rear is a bit random, the rest is pretty solid. Achieves to feel incoherent with only a few fixtures. The headlights try hard to be special, it's just not so nice to look at. The round shape of the front grille does not really match the overall boxiness. Decent build, but not a fan of the rear vent. The paint is a bit chromy, other than that I see no larger issues. Boxy front grille and too much body molding on the bonnet. An interesting concept, maybe the grille works a little better if placed lower and more towards the center. Basic, but proportions are good, looking beefy. A bit uninspired and scaled number plates. I see potential, maybe without the outer headline chrome. The front is pretty sweet, but the taillights don't fit. Too basic and incoherent. Pretty brutal and busy, but consistent. The front works really well, but inconsistent towards the rear. Nice front, not much going on elsewhere. The cabin proportions are off, feels unrealistic. A very interesting build, needs another go at the headlights. Decent, the original number plate scale hurts it, but it's realistic. Not the most beautiful cheesecake on the planet, but definitely unique. Pretty decent overall, nice details. A bit inconsistent and some proportions feel off. Decent build, a bit too much chrome for me. Interesting ideas, the front of the body should be longer. Many very busy looking vents. Decent build, but the side vents are not fitting. Other than the front lights, it looks pretty sweet. It is trying, but shapes are a bit inconsistent. Taillight fixture scale should maybe be revised. Trying very hard, the cutout front doesn't work for me. The wavy front does not really look nice, it's very busy if looked at from an angle. Nicely themed car, I'd like it more without chrome headlamp linings and quadruple exhausts. The second Massacre Isetta looks a lot better due to a nice space rim built in 3D. No risks, well proportioned, just a bit bland. Pretty standard, but well crafted. Headlights may be a bit too small. A really nice coupe with good color choices, a bit more detail would get it to the next level. I am not a fan of the low grille in the front, the rear needs more detail. It benefits from the body shape, scaled down headlights and angled brake ducts don't convince me. Nicely crafted convertible, just the inconsistent vents hurt it a bit. Interesting flat nose and rear, it's sitting too low though. The roll bars, rear aero cover and split windshield don't work for me. A bit on the busy side, but well crafted and interesting ideas. I don't see a consistent or inspired build here, but maybe that's just my taste. A very creative build, I really like the front. The rear could use a little bit more love. Nicely created with good detail, but the triangular shapes can only be found at the front. Nice idea with the extra hood to make it a bit special. Heavy 3D work makes it look a bit messy in certain lighting conditions. Tried a bit too hard in my opinion. Nicely detailed build, not the most elegant looking, but also has small headlight syndrome. Some nice details, but proportions feel a bit off in places. A mix of well crafted and just too much venting. A bit brutal overall, benefits from detailed interior. The front is really nice, but it's another car behind the windshield. Not sure about the spare wheel and the taillight shape, but it somewhat works out. A well built, cute car, maybe I'd like to see it without the chrome lining at the bottom though. Consistent yes, beautiful maybe not really. Some people seem to really like it though. Nice and creative build, well done, I really like it. Just steering might be a bit difficult. This is too far down the order for me too. I just don't like the inside headlights in the grille. Really well crafted, but almost looks a bit fragile. Don't break it in half. I didn't see this so far up the order. It's the benefit of people being used to it and of being the host, I guess. Bigger headlights, but I really love the side molding and vent. And now it's time for the top 10. Ham with a nicely crafted and detailed build, especially the rear, but I'm not a fan of the flat looking top. Morosa built a nice car and painted it black so that we don't get to enjoy it. CH Flash with a very detailed and elegant build. I just would like to remove the bonnet vents. Riley with some awesome little coupe. A bit ahead of its time maybe, but very nice work including a 3D roof fixture. Aruna is something with a racy looking roadster. Nice interior, rear legs detail a little bit. Portal Cat with a very vintage looking one, really nice 3D work. Max Bomb on P4, very elegant and creative coupe. Lots of 3D work hurts it a little bit in these lighting conditions. The first on the podium is Chief Zack with a very well proportioned and detailed coupe. Congratulations! Sure as Can Be shows in P2 how brutal vintage cars can look like. A little over the top with the venting maybe, but it looks like it needs it. And P1 is taken by no other than Oreology. It just looks right from every angle. Nice details and showing off their craftsmanship. And there's your winners in the sports category. Absolutely fabulous and believable designs in a highly contested field of cars. Congratulations to our top 3, Oreology, Sure as Can Be and Chief Zack 2018. Thanks again everybody for your contributions. It was really enjoyable for me to see your take on the challenge and to see most of the entries built with care and love for the era of cars. After the designers have had their battle, it is now time for the engineers to take over and to see who is the fastest on the long journey through Fuenia. But that will have to wait for a little bit longer. For today, this is it. Thank you all for watching, see you all again very soon, bye bye.